Have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'll take a moment of silence. We'll take this time for individual prayer, reflection, or meditation. We take this time to honor and remember our first responders and the men and women in our military who keep us safe and protect our freedoms at home and abroad. All right, thank you very much. Again, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. We'll go ahead and take care of a little bit of housekeeping on the agenda. We have some additions to the agenda and modifications. We've added 04B, parentheses 4, that's POWMI Recognition Day. We've modified 7P, the union contract. We replaced the slip sheet with the contract that was updated 9/12/2025. We added 7Q, an ILA for computer-aided dispatch. Were pushed from the 9/3 meeting. This was updated on 9/5/2025. We added 7R, emergency medical transport letter of agreement for ACHA. That was updated 9/12/2025. And added 7S, amendment letter of agreement for AHAC, updated 9/12/2025. A few announcements. We have the Pink Fire Truck Pull tomorrow, September 16th, 6 p.m. at Town Center. Let's all get there and root on our firefighters and come out victorious.
What time is it? What time is it?
That is at 6 p.m. tomorrow, September 16th at Town Center. And we have legislative delegation meeting and public forum on September 19th from 3 to 5 p.m. here at the GSB Chambers, where Representative Greco and Senator Leek will be presiding over that delegation meeting. That is September 19th from 3 to 5 p.m. here in these chambers. The Creekside Festival is October 4th and 5th at Princess Place. Once again, we will have the Fire versus Sheriff Chili Cook-Off. From what I hear, the Chili Cook-Off is going to be independently judged this year. For my commissioners, Chief Tucker could use monetary assistance in getting the ingredients for the chili cook-off, so you can get money to Rose or Lucy, or give it directly to Chief Tucker, or Assistant Chief Sales. And upcoming commission meetings, we've got the second public budget hearing on Monday, September 22nd at 5:01 p.m. And our next regular meeting is Monday, October 6th at 9 a.m. All right, we'll go ahead and move to recognitions and proclamations. No recognitions this evening, but we do have 4 proclamations. And the first proclamation is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's October 2024. So this was requested by John Subers, the Advent Health Foundation Director, and he's got a host of people with him to celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Andy.
Yes,
My
sir.
name is Tony Papandrea, and I'm the chairman of Advent Health Palm Coast Foundation. And we appreciate you here proclaiming October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And, you know, over the years, our partnership and your support has helped us to touch over 600 people with 1,000 procedures, screening, diagnostics, and all the rest. And you know, each one of those numbers is important because each one of those numbers represents a person whose hand we held going through one of the darkest times of their life. And we'll continue to do that as long as we can and until there's a cure. So, thank you for what we're going to do this evening.
Thank you. If we could, I've got Commissioner Hanson to read our proclamation into the record tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is very appropriate for me because both my wife and daughter recently, with the thanks of Dr. Bauer and Dr. Sy, are now cancer survivors, breast cancer survivors. Proclamation of Flagler County Board of County Commissioners recognizing, October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Flagler County. Whereas breast cancer is the most frequently diagnosed cancer in women, and in 2024, an estimated 316,950 cases of invasive breast cancer are expected in women in the United States, and about 59,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer are expected to be diagnosed in men. Whereas only 1 in 8 women diagnosed with breast cancer have a family history, and 85% have no family history, with an increase in incident rates since 1990 being predominantly in women aged 50 or older. And whereas early detection with timely screening mammograms has helped to boost the number of breast cancer survivors to more than 3.8 million in the United States, also resulting in a 40% decline in mortality since 1989. And whereas Advent Health Palm Coast Foundation's Pink Army, with the support of our community, has raised and distributed over $200,000, helped hundreds of patients, and funded over 1,000 procedures in direct support to Flagler County women and men dealing with breast cancer. And whereas Advent Health's team members and physicians who are dedicated and compassionate continually to tireless care for cancer patients in Flagler County. Team members will provide the best cancer care closer to home with the addition of the Freitag Cancer Center. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners that they hereby proclaim October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Flagler County. Further, they encourage all citizens to join our breast cancer awareness campaign by encouraging all women to receive breast cancer screenings, actively educate others concerning the importance of early screening, and raise the pink flag against breast cancer. Adopted this 15th day of September 2025, attested to by Tom Bexley, Clerk of the Court, and Flagler County Board of Commissioners, signed by our Chair, Andy Nance.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a motion for that?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Flagler County as October 2025.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Hanson, seconded by Commissioner Pennington. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Aye.
Did you say aye, Greg?
Yeah.
That's like a sailor.
I was a little late.
That's like a Navy guy, right? I got you. Greg and I go way back. I think you graduated from some boat school, someplace like that. I don't know. We're both graduates of the United States Naval Academy, so there you go. I'd like to introduce Sean Rotan, who is the director of the new Freitag Cancer Center, say a few words.
Thank you, Tony. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners,
Welcome.
Advent Health is dedicated to providing advanced cancer care right here close to home. With our comprehensive cancer program, there is no need to travel outside of Flagler County to receive expert care. We offer advanced surgical services with the latest robotic technology, expanded medical oncology, and comprehensive radiation oncology powered by state-of-the-art linear accelerators and precision image guidance. Caring for the whole person is what drives us. Our cancer care program also offers oncology navigation, social workers, and chaplains alongside our physicians and staff to strengthen the patient's body, mind, and spirit. Early detection and awareness are crucial to our fight against breast cancer. Thank you for your leadership in raising the pink flag.
Thanks, Sean. And believe me, if you need surgery, one of the people that you really, really want to see is Dr. Jessica Marshall. All yours.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure it'll put this down a little bit. Well, as you know, I'm Dr. Jessica Marshall. I'm one of the surgeons at Advent Health here in Palm Coast, and Flagler County's only female general surgeon. And my lovely partner, Dr. Bauer, I know he's here with us in spirit tonight. So just wanted to say hello and say thank you. As we mentioned, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I'm so happy that we can continue that here in the community. And I know that our surgical services are just one small piece of the puzzle that Advent Health is trying to bring to help fight cancer in general, but of course, this month, that's special emphasis on breast cancer. And if there's anything that we can do, you know that we're here for you. It's unfortunately, breast cancer affects 1 in 8 women. So I know a lot of us are impacted by that. And as mentioned, it's not always something that comes from your genes. The 2 biggest risk factors are being female and as we get older, age. So you just have to remember, please, to talk to your friends and your family, and having this be Breast Cancer Awareness Month just keeps that at the forefront of our mind to get all of those that we love, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, our aunts, all screened. And of course, it does affect men as well, so you need to know that. And as we look forward to now the holidays coming up, please don't be afraid to talk to any relatives while you're sitting down for dinner for Thanksgiving or any of the holidays coming up, and try to get any family history that might be important for your health care in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. You know, our Pink 5K is on October 5th, and we're being supported by 26 other events that surround it, starting like tomorrow night with the truck pull. And the community outreach and support of this October turning Flagler County pink is amazing. And I'd like to introduce Denise and one of the community members. Denise, come say a few words. I know we're taking some time, but believe me, if you're diagnosed with breast cancer, you want to see these people.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Talisha, and this is Danielle, and she's the pet-friendly broker here in town. I'm honored to be here to support the cause so close to our hearts. We've had the privilege of partnering with Advent Health for the Pink Army 5K, an incredible event that raises fund and awareness for cancer rights here in Flagler County. And it's not just a one-time thing. Every single year, this event grows bigger and bigger, bringing more and more people, more support, and more hope.
So we're just glad that we get to be here and talk to you guys, and we would love for you and everybody here to join us on October 5th. And of course, bring your pets, because I know that they don't get breast cancer per se, but they do. We are going to have Pink Out Your Pet contest, and we will have prizes for first, second, and third. So we're here to help support and make this event very big and fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you both state your full name for me into the mic, if sure?
Danielle D'Souza.
Okay.
Scott.
Talisha Autry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we get a photo with you?
Good. Picture time.
So bright.
Can you see everybody? Wait a minute. I've worn this before. Leanne, you need to
Guys
get in
done
there.
this before.
Yeah. We are the
Thank
band.
you.
We are the band.
Thanks.
For getting the banner. Appreciate
Oh,
Take care of them.
nice seeing you. Thank you. See you at the event.
Thank you.
See you soon. Nice seeing you.
So I can't let Dr. Marshall leave without a little side note. If you remember, a month ago for the second meeting in the month, I missed because I had this little trip to the ER and found out I needed an emergency appendectomy. And just so happened that Dr. Marshall was my surgeon for that procedure, and the entire Advent Health staff was just fabulous. Dr. Marshall and her crew were fabulous. Got me out of there in a couple days, and then 2 weeks later, right, just got back from a a week in Alaska where we put in some pretty heavy hiking. So her work holds up, let me tell you. But just, it was great to see you this evening. And again, thank you to all the Advent crew, everybody the nurses, everybody that was there. Just give them my best and tell them thank you. They did a great job. Thank you. All right, the next item will be Constitution Week, September 17th through 23rd, 2025, requested by Christina Adderhold, the Regent Old Kings Highway Chapter.
Yes, hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Before we get started, let's have Commissioner Pennington's going to go ahead and read the proclamation for us.
Okay.
This is a proclamation of the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners recognizing September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week in Flagler County. Whereas on September 17th, 1787, the United States Constitution was signed by 39 brave men who changed the course of history by establishing the many rights and freedoms that we, the people, enjoy today. And whereas to perpetuate the Declaration stated on the United States Constitution, the Daughters of the American Revolution incorporated in 1896 for its members to dedicate themselves to the historical preservation, promotion, and education, service to veterans, and encouragement to patriotic endeavors. And whereas in 1956, the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution were instrumental in convincing Congress to pass a law that directs the President of the United States to annually designate the third week in September as National Constitution Week. And whereas Flagler County is home to the Old Kings Highway Chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, whose dedicated members promote and foster knowledge and appreciation for our Constitution and the inalienable rights it affords to all Americans. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners that we hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2025 as Constitution Week in Flagler County, and we encourage all citizens to join in celebrating the 238th anniversary of our United States Constitution. Adopted this 15th of September 25 and attested by Tom Bexley, our clerk, and our chair, Andrew Dance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve September 17th through 23rd, 2025 as Constitution Week in Flagler County.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Pennington, seconded by Commissioner Carney. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And may we have a photo?
Sure,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Did you have anything that you wanted to say?
She covered it beautifully.
I'm kind of wondering why
Did you,
Constitution Week isn't Constitution year all year long. I don't
Yes.
understand that, right?
Yeah, because like you said, Constitution Week is a time to honor the sacrifices and all the achievements our patriots and our founders made over that time of writing the Constitution. Do you know how long it took them to write the Constitution? Anybody? No?
Years. No.
They started on May 25th and didn't end till September 17th of writing the Constitution. And mind you, when they were writing the Constitution, it was drafted in Philadelphia in 1787 over the course of a humid summer. And in order to keep everything private, they literally nailed the windows shut in the buildings so nobody could overhear what they were discussing because they didn't want anybody to spread any gossip. So the windows at Independence Hall were shut to discourage eavesdroppers, and many delegates who were mostly from out of town wore and re-wore the same clothes, the woolen garments, day after day. And many framers stayed at the same boarding houses and shared the same rooms. And we in Florida can only imagine the smell, and it reeked, I'm sure. And I'm sure maybe it pushed them to write the Constitution a little faster. But that's just one of the fun facts. And we're very honored to have this proclamation and being a part of the Daughters of the American Revolution. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Picture.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
It's just, here is your proclamation.
You know that.
Switching it up on me.
Yeah, we don't want you to be confused.
Yeah, this next year is 250 years.
That's right.
That's it. This is it.
Next year, you're going to hear a lot.
That's a big year for us.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much. One more.
Hey, 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 hey. Thank you so much. Thank you, wonderful. I could smell it over here. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh. I could smell it. That was my body.
Our next proclamation is for National Service Dog Month, which is September 2025. This is requested by Commissioner Pam Richardson. So do I see we have some of our service dogs and their trainers and leaders, so come on up.
Your families.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Commissioner Richardson is going to go ahead and read the proclamation.
This is the proclamation of the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners recognizing September 2025 as Service Dog Month in Flagler County. Whereas we believe in the joy, transformative power of the human canine bond and inclusivity of all citizens. And whereas in the United States, 70 million adults have a disability and only 1,600 service dogs from accredited training programs exist nationwide, and the need is growing. And whereas Canine Companions created the service dog for people with physical disabilities 50 years ago in 1975, creating a new kind of support for disability. And whereas Canine Companions is a nonprofit organization that enhances the lives of people with disabilities by providing expertly trained service dogs and ongoing support to ensure quality partnerships free of charge. And whereas Canine Companions and their service dogs empower people with disabilities to lead a life with greater independence by providing best-in-class training, ongoing follow-up services, and a deeply committed community of support. And whereas National Service Dog Month aims to educate our community about the benefits of service dogs and the laws protecting their handlers. And whereas Flagler County continues to work towards becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens and their trained service dogs are embraced. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners that they hereby proclaim September 2025 as Service Week in Flagler County and encourage all citizens to celebrate service dogs and be respectful of the rights of safe access in our community afforded to the adults, children, and veterans who lead the more important, independent lives because of their assistance. This is adopted this 15th day of September, I made it a year later, 2025, attested by our Clerk of Courts, Tom Beckley, as well as Flagler County Board of Commissioners, Chair Andrew Dance will be signing it. I would like to move that we approve the proclamation. So I'd like to make that motion. I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Richardson, seconded by Commissioner Carney. All those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, and again,
Thank you.
welcome.
Tiffany?
Thank you. My name is Tiffany Edwards. While I'm a Volusia resident, I actually started my career here in Flagler County. So it's really exciting to see Flagler County supporting service dogs, our handlers, as well as our graduates. So we just want to say thank you so much. This is my daughter, Harper, and these are our wonderful volunteer puppy raisers who give of their time, talent, and treasure to make sure that these service dogs are given free of charge to adults, children, as well as veterans with disabilities. So thank you so much for having us and recognizing our organization.
Very good. Great
Thank
service.
you. That was done on, Mr. Graff had written me, and I just want to let you know he couldn't be here today, so he brought in the crew. And we're looking forward to meeting him and his dog as well.
Navy,
Navy,
actually. Yes.
Yep. Thank you. We're going to take a picture
Yeah,
now,
come on
okay?
up.
Thank you.
Here's your proclamation.
You might have to put the dogs to the side, or let you just.
Yeah, over here.
Little one can get, yeah. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
The star. You're a star today, baby. Yeah, the other one's too much. Yeah, baby.
Oh, we're
Sweet.
stare. Okay, well, stare wherever you want. It?
Another?
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you all for being here. And what are the dogs' names? Excuse me? Bamboo.
Bamboo,
Nice.
like the wood. And Dawn. Bye, Bamboo. Bye, Bamboo. She's having a good time.
Our next proclamation will be POW MIA Recognition Day, requested by Dave Lyden, our Veteran Services Officer. This proclamation will be read by Commissioner Carney.
Good evening, Dave. The proclamation of the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners recognizing September 19th, 2025 as POW MIA Recognition Day in Flagler County. Whereas the United States of America has been founded on the principles of freedom, justice, and respect for life, and whereas millions of men and women have served in the armed forces of the United States in order to preserve those principles, and whereas those veterans number over 13,000 in Flagler County, and whereas the American Legion supports achieving a full accounting of all POW MIAs from the Gulf War, Vietnam War, Cold War, Korean War, and World War II. And whereas those unaccounted for POW MIAs number 81,600. And whereas the National League of Families proposed the third Friday of September as a commemorative date, and whereas Flagler County Veterans Organization members continue to serve by sponsoring programs and supporting legislation to benefit veterans, and whereas the Veteran Service Organizations formed the Flagler County Veterans Advisory Council to provide a united effort in support of those veterans, and whereas Flagler County Veterans Advisory Council supports National POW MIA Recognition Day and encourages all to remember those who have not returned from past conflicts. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners that they hereby proclaim September 19th, 2025 as POW MIA Recognition Day in Flagler County and encourage all residents to participate in remembering by suitable ceremonies. Adopted this 15th day of September 2025, attested Tom Bexley, Clerk of Circuit Court and Comptroller, and Flagler County Board of County Commissioners, and Andrew Dance, Chairman. Chair, I move that we accept the proclamation of Flagler County recognizing September 19th, 2025 as POW MIA Recognition Day.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Carney, seconded by Commissioner Pennington. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, sir. Welcome.
I'm David Lyden. Thank you, Commissioners. On behalf of the Flagler County veterans, I gratefully accept the proclamation.
Thank you. Come on up, we'll take a picture.
David, did you want to go behind? Can
Yeah, that'd probably be better. Come on up.
Upstairs. Short walk.
topple these stupid chairs?
I know somebody's going to trip and fall into the chairs. This is a special. There you go.
There's a trap door.
There's a trap.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Have a good night.
Can't get the darn thing up. Oh, God.
All right, that completes our recognitions and proclamations. We don't have any presentations this evening, so we'll move on to community outreach. This 30-minute time period has been allocated for public comment on any consent agenda item or topic not on the agenda. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to address the commission. Speakers should approach the podium and identify themselves and direct comments to the commission. At this time, I'll open it up for public comment. Good evening.
Good evening, Chair Dance and Commission. Wendy Tremarchi, Flagler County. In relation to the 6,000-home Haw Creek project in Bunnell, as it affects all the Flagler County's pet population, statistics show that 6,000 homes would bring approximately 4,200 pets to this community. The City of Palm Coast and the county are in discussions over animal control and sheltering for the already immediate needs and issues that cannot and will not be addressed by the current nonprofit with the contract to house and care for these animals. Just yesterday, they put out an SOS for volunteers to try and get the dogs out for walks. That's a shame. I realize decisions made by the City of Bunnell is not something you can control, but their choices do affect the entire county infrastructure and, yes, your pet population issues, all of which affect your citizens. Please help expedite all animal welfare decision-making already on the table for our unwanted and at-risk animals, as this situation only escalates. Animal control should be a quick decision. After all these months, I've been at it myself over a year. Most have been a year and a half. As a postscript, the Humane Society now has inmates at the shelter. In premise, it's a great idea if at a sheriff's department-run shelter under their strict guidance. This is not the case. As we both know, the county animal control officers have had personal relationships with Flagler inmates. The shelter came out over the weekend that they have a yearly audit. We all know that is not the truth. They do not. They call their tax returns by their own CPA an audit. That's a lie. Florida is now, since I have been speaking in a little over a year, is now down to 9 counties from 13 without its own shelter, of which we are one. And that is soon to be 8, as Indian River County, where I am on the board of their shelter, has started their own shelter. And started in the process to get their own shelter. And the list for change goes on. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Good evening.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Robin Paletta, Halifax Plantation. I was just going through the consent agenda, and I have a question about 7G. Apparently, funds are being transferred from the ESL reserves to the capital fund. Is that because of land purchases that are anticipated? Okay, thank you. That answered that question. Also, I wanted to say thank you for your calm. I saw Commissioner Richardson Saturday night. I'm a volunteer usher at the auditorium, and they had a wonderful performance there by the Cirque du Canines, and it was really a cute evening. Last Thursday night, you had your ears pinned back from people from the hammock who were upset about the MSBT, whatever acronym the day is for the assessment. And I was happy to see that you guys passed that, because it's sort of like a card that you can set aside for looking at the beach replenishment funding issue. It's not an ace in the hole by any means, but it may be useful. I'm still going to go on record again advocating for a half-cent sales tax. There's a memorandum of understanding that was drawn up between the different cities in the county as to how the funds revenue generated would be dispersed. And I think that was a lot of work, and it indicated that it would help on a more sustainable level fund the beach renourishment program. When I first moved here over 9 years ago, I'm a relative newbie. One of my favorite beaches that my husband and I would go to was down by the water tower, right at the border with Volusia. And the beach was wide and deep. It was gorgeous. Then Matthew, and then the other hurricanes and the nor'easters. You go to that beach today, even at low tide, it is a shadow of what it used to be. So now when I do my beach walks, I go up to South 28th Street, and the difference there, even at high tide or the tide coming in, my little dog's not real happy when the water comes up and nabs him on his belly. He's kind of low to the ground. But it's a night and day difference you can see between the rebuilding and hopefully in the future with renourishment. So I would say that should you decide to implement the half-cent sales tax and or put it up for a referendum, that you contact the community, because there are a lot of us out there who would be happy to advocate. I'm on my HOA's board. I know I would advocate for it there. Even though we're technically in Volusia County, majority of residents do come up to the restaurants and the shops here in Flagler. And so we're going to be paying that and supporting it. Thank you for the extra time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to come up here once again and speak with you. My name is Laura Stillman. I live on the Barrier Island, and I want to tell you a quick story. I met a wonderful couple here when I moved here 4 years ago, and they live in my neighborhood. They're in their 70s. When they retired in the late 1990s, they bought a lot on the island and built their forever home. It's a lovely home. It's about 1,300 square foot. It's modest, but is beautiful. And again, this is their forever home. That's what they built, and they have no desire to move. Over the years now, we've had a number of assessments that have come along. I'm not familiar with it since I didn't live here, but I've certainly heard about it, and I know it's on my tax records too. So they worked on their budget. They've been able to pay everything. Now we've got an MSBU that's being enacted on the unincorporated parts of the island, and we were first told it's just going to be a tool in the toolbox, I believe is the quote. Later, the residents were told it would probably be about maybe $160 per property. Now the MSBU is being discussed by our commissioners as a major funding source for future beach renourishments. That's a drastic change in direction of what's been talked about, at least for the past year. So back to my friend's story. That story, it applies to so many of the people on the unincorporated Barrier Island. It's not just this couple. It is so many people. That island has people who are extremely wealthy and not wealthy at all, those that are still struggling every day. And so now you think that this MSBU is going to come along. For some reason, somebody must think that it's right and fair funding mechanism for the beach, future beach renourishment, and it is not. This was going to have a negative effect on many Barrier Island residents. There's so many people, I could tell you so many more stories. So additionally, let me remind you of the current discussions at the county, state, and federal levels about affordable housing. Using only the MSBU without the combination with a half-cent sales tax, to me, it's an example of the county causing additional unaffordable housing. With the taxes, with the MSBUs, is getting really expensive. And again, they're not all millionaires out there. So I also find it a bit disconcerting. I'm going to point out, I'm sorry, Commissioner Carney, but you're against the half-cent sales tax, and you're the county commission representative on the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. This is going to affect affordable housing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Did you come to the budget hearing? Okay. So just to follow up, I mean, you're right, this year there's zero funding for it. And any future funding will have a long, deliberate public policy, public meeting process. So nothing's been determined in the future. So I wouldn't add stress to the homeowners. They'll have plenty of opportunity later if there is a move to putting money to the MSBU.
Just a tool or a toolbox, and now it's sounding like.
Yeah, understood.
So there's a lot of stress, and once it goes into place, it's really hard to get it to go away.
Understood. Thank you.
I'd rather have it to be multiple funding mechanisms.
Thank you. Yep.
Good evening, Commissioners. I believe this would be the right time, since there's nothing more on the agenda to do with the budgets and funding and things like that, just to make this comment. I came earlier today, and I've changed my shirt since, to complain about spending $10 million on a tourist building. I understand you're probably going to pass that. Since the meeting last Thursday, I've taken the opportunity to actually look through the detail of the properties that constitute the MSBU. And my suggestion is that as soon as possible, Heidi should send something out that explains what is the next process, what is the next steps in the process. The MSBU is not down the road. It's there, although you're charging no tax, you formed it. When it was originally discussed a year ago, it was like there would be two parts to it. One part would be on a flat rate, one part would be based somehow on taxation. The numbers that you've been using and quoting were to raise $1.72 million through that tax. That's still what I last saw on this chart. And that's not $160, that's $320, because there's about 6,000, a little bit more than 6,000 properties. So is the MSTU still somewhere floating out there? Originally, it was going to be 50-50 split, then it just disappeared, and only the MSBU. If you go ahead with the MSBU, and I also heard something about studies that are still going on, engineering studies have got to be done on volume. Well, what are those studies? When are those going to happen? Do we have an input to them, or do they just come along at the end? So what's the process next for the studies that you're going to be doing? My understanding is they don't affect any allocation within MSBU in any way, that the MSBU is going to be a flat rate, whatever it is. So if you don't have a sales tax and you don't have other funding and you don't increase the MSTU, then yeah, people are worried that it's going to be a lot more. Now, I don't know, I'm not complaining about the value. The 160 or 320 makes little difference to me. I was thinking of pulling it out of my wallet and giving it to John Subers for the Pink Army and said, yeah, I'll do that. But it does make a difference to a lot of people. You heard Laura talk about it. Is it really fair that somebody in a small trailer, mobile home, or whatever in the hammock is paying the same amount as a Hammock Dunes golf course? Both of them are properties. Both of them are going to pay the same amount in a flat rate ad valorem tax. Businesses are going to be the same amount as others. I think you need to now explain, now that you've passed it, what's the next steps. So if you don't explain it this evening, then hopefully very soon. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I think we'll do a follow-up for you at the end of the public comment. We'll see if there's any other more comments on the MSBU. So still open for public comment if anybody wishes to speak on either topics, any topic, or on the consent items. All right, seeing them, we'll go ahead and close public comment. Ms. Petito, did you want to do a brief summary of where we're headed? I think the last time I remember the engineering study might be ready by the end of October, or can you just update us on when the length of that and what our next steps are?
Sure, I'll try as best I can. So the process involves a lot of different steps. So it's not just as easy as looking at the project itself and looking at the apportionment of that project. I think it depends on, are we still considering a county-wide approach? Then you need 12 million a year. If you're looking at just the unincorporated, it's somewhere around 8.2 million a year. So if we talk about just looking at the unincorporated, the 8.2 million that you'd have to raise, the apportionment study is going to look at that project, and they're going to want to know what other revenue sources are you going to be applying to that project, so then they understand how much needs to be apportioned to the parcels or property owners within that service area or benefit area. Then what they do is they use a weighted scale based on each benefit that the properties are using. So if you go back to the resolution, and we called out flood protection, we called out property protection, we talked about environmental, we talked about quality of life. When you look at each one of those benefits that's described in the resolution, there will be a weighted score applied to each one of those as they start to determine what each parcel will pay. In the case of somebody living in a single-family home versus the golf course, when you look at commercial properties, they will use a weighted ERU or equivalent residential unit so that they aren't treated the same way as an individual parcel. So if you look at the golf course in total, they would probably be paying something much larger than, say, 100 homes combined. But the engineering study, they look at the cost of the project, and then they need to determine the benefit that each property within that benefit area receives. And that's why it's really going to be telling of this board to find out what project do we have, what funding do we pledge towards it, and then it's that gap that you are looking to collect in the apportionment. So it's kind of like, putting the cart before the horse. When we're trying to work with an engineer, the best we can do is probably have them come up with an apportionment going in the millions. For every $1 million, what does each one of these parcels look like? So then as we fine-tune the funding plan, then we know how much each property would, be charged or levied. So the process really is preliminary right now, where we're talking to the engineering consultant, giving them the data, but there's still more work that needs to be done by this board before it can really move forward. And that'll probably take a couple months before they have the actual information and can fine-tune what that looks like and come before the board.
Okay. Thank you. Was there anybody else that wanted to respond to public comment?
I was going to wait till commissioner comments.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, we've closed community outreach at this time. Was there any comments anybody wanted to address on any of the consent items at this time?
I had some questions about 7.0. I don't necessarily need to pull it, just questions.
Now that comes up. That's come up a couple times over the past few years.
I have some thoughts on it too.
Okay.
I
As
also.
do I.
Oh, you do too? I addressed.
Mr. Brower, did you want to come up, please?
I guess we're pulling that item, huh?
Mr. Chair, John Brower, Financial Services.
Any specific questions, or did you want to have Mr. Brower run through the item?
How about we run just a quick synopsis of the timeline? I did read it, how many years it is. But then also going forward, is there some sort of plan to resolve this dilemma going forward? And then also, do these go just completely, I guess it does, really just kind of get written off, doesn't go to a third party for collection or anything?
No, management decision, the board's decision was not to do that with these uncollectibles. We're all going to have uncollectibles. This one's large because, well, various reasons. One is the Change Healthcare had issues. They got breached, I guess, internet or software breach, and lost a bunch of data. There was a transition back in February with that. We got Digitech now. I just spoke with the chief earlier. He says they're basically collecting double what Change Healthcare was, so we're expecting that. I mean, we're always going to have uncollectibles, but nothing close to this. That's the expectation.
So going forward, we think could be less because we went with another company? Is that it, or?
Yeah, I think, and I haven't looked into it quite yet. They've only been doing business with us for, 7 months, something like that. But as I understand it, their collections, their process is a lot better than Change Healthcare's was. And they're collecting, I think, upwards of double what Change Healthcare's was.
So we lost funding because they had like a cyber attack, data breach of that, and then they lost data as a result of it.
Right.
And there's no accountability on their part to pay us for uncollectibles because of what occurred to them.
I think there should be, but we're small potatoes in their world, and
10 million
there's a lot bigger people. There's a lot bigger damages to other places. So if it happens, it'll happen years down the road. I would expect with.
So has this been viewed by legal? You're new to this whole ordeal, and I apologize for collectability from. So we have $10 million in potential uncollectible account, or we're going to write off for uncollectible accounts for ambulance billing, and it seems a good share of that could be due to the company that handled it had some sort of data loss, data breach. Is that right, Ms. Petito? And
no. I mean, I have not been given the particulars or the details of the issue. Now, if there was a data breach where we are one of various parties that were affected and damaged, I don't know if there had been an attempt by the other parties to either file a class action against this entity or have some type of way to recoup these losses or file a claim against their insurance to at least get, even if it's pennies on the dollar, for some type of recoupment. I'm also concerned if there was a data breach, whether some of the records were we able to obtain some of the records back so that we don't have an instance where we don't have access to public records anymore. I had a similar instance with a same ambulance billing provider at one of my former jurisdictions where we did file a lawsuit. There were some impropriety concerns. We ended up having to settle the matter just simply to get back our data because they moved it to a server on the cloud that they did not give us access to it. So if those are concerns I can get with them to see if there's perhaps.
You need this written off in the September meeting because of budget year? Or?
2 points. One is that this hasn't been done for a number of years. This isn't just $10 million over the last 12 months. So there is that. The biggest part of that is a Change Healthcare thing. The idea is to get them written off, honestly. I mean, it doesn't mean we can't collect the money.
That's what I was thinking. Even though we write it off, we can still
what we're
do
asking. I don't know how much accounting you guys have, but I mean, it's just an asset, debit credit thing that reduces our accounts receivable and, actually makes our numbers, our financials more accurate.
Was this picked up at our audit? Why wasn't this reported in our audit?
Well, it's fine if we show that it's accounts receivable. I mean, everything's accounted for.
It's very aged. It's from 2018.
Right. Some of it is. I don't know if it's that old, but it could be. I don't want to argue with you. It could be old. I thought the last time we did it was.
While she's looking it up,
19
I
or
already
18.
spoke with council earlier and with the administration, and I understand that they didn't pursue it so much as quickly as they could have in the past, and I would like to make some kind of motion to not allow this to happen again.
Well,
If there's somebody, in default, and there's some kind of, we need to have some kind of process in which we can go ahead and attempt for, whether we hire an outside collection agency or whatever we need to do. This is absurd to me.
My understanding, since I've been here, was that it was a decision, a board decision, management decision, to not, use collection agency or collection people to, get ambulance billing.
But we need that money for.
That's a policy direction.
Well, it's not a written
Typically,
policy
or-
direction, but it's been a general
I mean,
kind of rule of thumb since I've been here. That's because I asked the same question when I first started.
Well, if you build the insurance for it and the insurance didn't pay 100% of it, that would be fine to write off some of it. But if you're getting zero collected.
No, we're not getting zero, Commissioner.
Okay.
I wouldn't say we're getting zero. We're just not, I mean, this is a big number. There's no doubt about it, especially for Flagler County. But we're not getting zero.
You know what I'm saying? Individual bills. So is all of this money left over after you build insurance or after the patient received a claim from their insurance? Or is this has got to be some no pays because not everybody has insurance in Flagler County.
The chief is really the primary person who works with the Change Healthcare and the Digitech. I know that when they get a bill, they go after insurance, they go after personal, anything they can to get the money, and then, it all depends on the drive that they have to try to get the money. They ask once and forget. I don't know what their process is. Maybe.
Chief?
Chief?
Good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. This is a pretty convoluted issue. The reality is that most ambulance services in the country are only collecting about 60% of what they bill. And a lot of that's due to the payer mix. And if you've got Medicare, Medicaid patients, those are agreed upon prices that we cannot, no matter what we charge. Even if we charged $5,000 in transport, Medicare, Medicaid are only going to pay a given amount. And so part of this is the write-off from what we billed, which was a full amount, to what Medicare and Medicaid have said that they will pay. So I'd say that's a large portion, of this. And so that.
You can adjust that annually. You can look at how much you billed and how much you collected, and you can adjust it annually. Why would you wait for it to become a number this big?
I think, as Mr. Barrow indicated, a lot of this had to do with the timing, of Change Healthcare and their cybersecurity attack, and then the ability to switch to a new company. So this came together because of all of that. So even if we went back to Change Healthcare from a legal perspective, the potential for getting anything back from them, honestly, is probably pretty small. Because again, most of this is driven by Medicare, Medicaid, and the federal government has a way to try to do some additional reimbursements for us, but they're not even coming close to covering the cost of providing ambulance service to Medicare and Medicaid patients.
It's a shame that it took almost, 8 years? You said 18? 2018? Goes back to 2018?
The cybersecurity attack is close to 2 years old, and then some of this was before that point in time.
So we're talking about 7 years.
And that part, I'm not sure of the timing, of that. But again, as Mr. Brower indicated, Digitech has doubled our collection rate. So that is which has gotten us more in line with the industry.
So I understand to write it off, but maybe also have legal look at the particulars of the cyber incident just to ensure that we're all, we've exercised everything we need to do against the previous company in terms of data and costs lost.
I can understand the desire, and I would the only thing I would add is that Change Healthcare has been not a positive company to work with as we've tried to navigate this, because we were essentially shut down billing for close to 6 months. And Digitech took over and went backwards as far as they were able to and collected a bunch. So our transition to Digitech has been very positive. Our time with Change Healthcare was not so positive. So I wouldn't get my hopes up, honestly.
I'm not. I just would like to make sure that legal's involved in those discussions when we have a changeover because we lost funds and data and everything else.
But again, I would just highlight the fact that a lot of our payer mix includes Medicare and Medicaid patients. And the federal government dictates what they're going to pay.
So we expect to just basically lose this sort of money.
Yeah, being in the ambulance service, while they will tell you is a moneymaker, it is
right.
not.
Well, just for the record, the staff report says from June of 2018 through February of 2024, the accounts during this time frame reflects a balance of $10,258,142.01 in uncollectibles. So another thing is if you bill Medicare in January at some time early in the year, every Medicare patient has a deductible. So you got to collect it from the patient because they have a deductible, right? When I go to my doctor in January, he collects $140 from me because that's my deductible. Because Medicare is just going to say, you got to pay your deductible. So there is some deductible money in there somewhere that somebody didn't pay. So I get no problem moving forward, but I would just hope that there's a stronger policy and that this stuff should be written off at the end of the year. It should not be sitting out there. I mean, again, it's not money we have. We didn't give any money up. It's monies that's sitting out there as a collectible. So we haven't lost, technically, we haven't lost anything, but to clean up the books, I think we should be doing it at least annually.
Well, the CFPB has made it nearly impossible to collect on medical anymore because you're not allowed to put it on their credit reports. So it has totally changed the market for medical. That's why so many collect up front in this situation to avoid that nowadays. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to write it off. That's where we're at. But maybe also the takeaway is just to get with legal and ensure that we are in the right with that other company. If there's any options, just let them take a look.
Mm-hmm. And again, I would say that we are in a much better position with this new company, Digitech, than we were previously. So, again, the experience has been positive, very positive so far.
Do we ever send out a bill afterwards within a 6-month period or something as a reminder?
Our billing company does work with them, and they do send reminders. Yeah.
Okay, but they just don't pay.
Yes, ma'am. And then, obviously the challenge is at what point do you send Mrs. Smith to collections, forward?
That is the question.
Yes. So
that is the question.
Mr. Rodriguez, did you need any clarification or direction from us? It sounds like we would just like to have a little insight into other options.
I think that the direction is fairly clear, just to consult with both the finance department and fire rescue to see if there are options for collections. My other concern is we are not going to run afoul or have any issues with any Medicare audit regarding this. That was our biggest concern in my prior jurisdiction as well, that Medicare was going to come in and start auditing and figure out that there were missed payments or somebody was pocketing some Medicare funds somewhere. So we're not going to be on the hook for those, or we should be fine with those.
That's a takeaway. Yeah. That's the question of the day. Takeaway.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. We are good.
Thank you.
So when you get a bill, you go to the doctor and he orders labs, and the labs are $350. And you get your benefit explanation report, and it says Medicare paid $120. The difference is blah, blah, blah. You owe $0. So some providers accept what Medicare pays. Right. If we need a policy that says we accept what Medicare pays for our ambulance service, then you won't have an accounts receivable built up over and over and over again. So why don't we just accept what Medicare pays and move on?
Right.
Why are we going through all of this? Same with Medicaid. You're not going to get any more out of Medicaid than you're going to get out of Medicaid. Accept their payment, adjust the balance, and move on.
Yeah, I don't know those numbers off the top of my head.
It's not all of them.
So,
yeah,
I understand.
Okay. Well,
You can't get something you can't get. And to let it sit in accounts receivable accumulating for months, I won't say years, I'll say months, it's just look at it and just say, we're not going to be able to get this, let's take the bite now, not when it reaches $7 million.
Or 10. Of course, you've got the manpower. You're paying for the manpower, the gas, the vehicles. I know it's expensive. I've heard the cost of the bills, and I understand it. And some people probably can't afford it that are on a fixed income and in Medicare. Because Kim is 100% right on that, though. I don't understand why we don't. Is there a reason why we wouldn't address it at that time rather than to hold on to it for a while, Mr. Brower?
Mr. Chair, no, we can do things as quick as we can. First, I want to say that not all of these are Medicaid cases. Some are, we charge $800, insurance pays $300 as a $500 balance, and we never get anything from the person. And Medicaid and Medicare is not even a part of it. So to your question, what was your question again? I'm sorry, Commissioner.
How can we get it arranged in the books properly where it does show that it's like Medicare, a lack of balance, balance it, make it evenly balanced?
Yeah, and what I would say is we'd have to decide what we want to be late. So some places do 180 days, and then you just go to collections, or we'll write it off or whatever. Some are less. It would just have to be a policy of.
So we have to just set up a ruling as what's the time frame we want to consider them beyond.
And if we did something every year, for example, really we do the 6 months, the first 6 months of that year type of thing, and we can certainly do that.
I will say that some people have told me that, if you don't pay the bill the first time, it's okay. The second time, it's okay. Third time, well, maybe you better pay the bill. So maybe we need more repetition and reminders of that, too.
Yeah, I think that's part of the story, too, is that Change Healthcare wasn't really sending repeat stuff. I don't, Digitech, I'm not sure, but it's got to be a better process.
Well, it's just something that we want to look into. I think we have to be cautious to not lose any more money if we can avoid it, that's all.
I'm all for that.
Whatever. And I think a letter of 78 cents is a pretty good price. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Any other comments on any other items on consent?
I'd like to just make a comment on 7I. In a workshop previous to this meeting, we had a comprehensive presentation and handout on moving this project forward for the Eco Discovery Center. I'd like to thank staff for sticking with it. A lot of these projects, understandable, this project is over 5 years old. I love the location. I love the concept. I believe that tourism isn't just about sand on the beach. And I commend you for sticking with it and getting this project started.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm very excited about this project. After seeing this today, this earlier workshop, it really is going to be a fabulous option and open up the doors for so many people, especially the children, to learn and educate, and for people to really love and respect Flagler County as I do. So I'm excited about that, too. And, of course, A1A is right around the corner, so I see Mrs. A1A here. So it's going to really help us in our economic development. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anybody start with Commissioner Hanson? Anything to pull on consent?
No, sir.
Commissioner Pennington?
No.
Commissioner Carney? No. Commissioner Richardson?
No.
And I don't have anything.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hanson, seconded by Commissioner Richardson. All those in favor of consent signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. We'll move on to item 8. 8A is adoption of a resolution to vacate a portion of the plat of map of Favoretta subdivision in the MH1 Rural Mobile Home and R1 Rural Residential Zoning Districts. Mr. Mingle, good evening, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, Commissioners, Adam Mangle, Growth Management Director. I've seen a few of these, I think, at this point, and so this one is within the area that Junior Strickland had agreed back in 1990 to replat or replan, and so this is kind of some of that aftermath. This is one where a particular owner here didn't get title directly from Junior. There's an intermediate owner. We can't regulate land sales, but it happens. So here's that configuration that we're looking at for this parcel. It does meet its minimum requirements within the two respective zoning districts. You can see where the road is, it's designated as Favoretta Road. That is an easement that's named that way just for 911 purposes. Give you some orientation. County Road 200 is at the top, just off of this graphic. Railroad tracks, you can see in that top right corner, you can see the railroad tracks, and US 1 is then just beyond that to your far right. And so this plat for Favoretta, as you can imagine, it's an old plat. And to give them credit, they were actually able to go and find this plat. We thought it was something that we didn't have a version of this floating around, and this is what it looks like. This is the amount of detail we're dealing with this. Y'all, some of you have it, some of you don't.
My screen's not on, but I'm over here.
I had screen and it disappeared.
Okay.
And back.
You're not missing much.
No, not with this one.
A lot of lines.
Not missing anything.
I see a lot of lines.
And then superimpose the survey over those lines for the lots and the alleyways and the unnamed roadways. Again, not a whole lot of detail on this, but the graphic then shows portions of Block 16, Block 17, and Block 18 of the map of Favoretta being vacated along with the intervening unnamed alleyways and roadways that are part of this request. So not unlike others, we've got the added complexity of the roadways that are there, none of them being used for access, none of them ever being used for any utilities on our behalf, and none of them intended for any use in the future. So we've got that determination from the board, a little problematic at this point. Those cutouts that have happened, again, we don't regulate how land's cut out. We do regulate how it's then built on. So in order to make this buildable, the property owner has to come in and go through this plat vacation process. As I've alluded to, this plat vacation does not affect anyone's access to any of their parcels within the vicinity of this. All the taxes have been paid. We've got the consents from the utility providers, which was always the little more difficult part of this, always the time crunch that's happened with these. And the owner has gone and hunted all those down. We've gotten those consents, and we did provide public notice to those owners within the vicinity for them to be able to make comment here tonight if they choose to do so. With that, we have for your review a resolution, and that would be vacating this part of the map of Favoretta, should you choose to adopt it. If not, deny it if you can. In your denial, place reasons on the record for the denial. And then, or if you are missing some information, we can continue it to a time and date certain, come back and bring that information to you. With that, I'll submit my report for the record and await any questions or comments.
Thank you. No comments at all?
None for the record, no, sir.
Okay.
It's my understanding this can be a single home.
Yes, yes, sir. That's my belief.
That's
yes.
the deal.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, any other comments for Mr. Mangle?
What size was the lot? What size was it?
I remember now. It was that one that big. Each of those are, I think, even 50 by 100s. It's not that big, but it was over an acre, if I'm remembering right. So we checked the box on the zoning.
About 8 lots, okay.
I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment. Is there anybody that wishes to speak on this item? Come up to the podium. State your name. All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment and bring it back to the board for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the adoption of a resolution to vacate a portion of the plat of map of Favoretta subdivision in the MH1 Rural Mobile Home and R1 Rural Residential Zoning Districts.
I'll second.
Ooh, that's a close one.
All right.
Just pick any of them.
Motion by Commissioner Hanson, seconded by Commissioner Pennington.
Oh.
It's closer, I heard it
Boy,
first.
oh, yeah, he got a good left ear.
I got a good
All right, we've gone to public comment closed. Any final comments before I call the question? All right, all those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 8B, consideration of agreement with the Flagler County Humane Society for Animal Control Services, Animal Shelter Services, and Spay and Neuter Programs. Ms. Petito?
Thank you. You have before you for your consideration, it's a one-year contract between Flagler County and the Flagler Humane Society. And that would be for your standard animal control services as well as your sheltering and spay and neuter program. The key differences with this contract over previous years, this is only a one-year contract. We are seeing a slight increase, 3%, in the animal control costs, and then an 18% increase in the sheltering services and spay and neuter. Some of the key differences, the Humane Society has agreed to conduct level 2 background screenings on the animal control officers. And then they will also not employ or accept as volunteers anybody who had been convicted of animal cruelty or crimes of dishonesty. Either party may terminate the contract for cause by providing the 45-day prior notice. Either party may terminate for convenience upon 120-day prior notice. The county will assign one commissioner and one staff person to serve as liaisons to the Flagler Humane Society Board. And then the Flagler Humane Society Board will assign 2 board members to serve as liaisons to the county, where we can meet monthly to review financial and animal intake reports. And then, as you've seen in the last few reports that we've sent out to you, the Humane Society will be providing the county with the case file reports as kind of background information, in addition to the monthly case summary. You may have seen that where they're sharing the log and the case summary for the month. I believe Lucy may have sent those out to you just to get some feedback. I hadn't heard anything.
Did anybody get that?
It was a kind of like a case summary, a PDF of an Excel spreadsheet, and then behind it, you'd have all of the calls for service. Before, in the past, what we used to get is kind of just a high-level summary, and rather than recreate or create new documents, we had the Humane Society share with us kind of like a summary log for the month, and then behind that, it would be sequential. So similar to like a police officer, if they came out to your house and wrote a report, you're getting a copy of that log, and it'll tell you the address, how long they were out there, the actions taken, and kind of like a disposition.
I don't think we got that.
We didn't
When
get
did
that.
we get it? I never received it.
No.
It was
Okay.
never sent out.
Okay.
Do you know when that came in?
It's been months. It was probably a few months ago when we were having discussions. I can comb back through the emails. That's going to basically take the place. It's providing you more detail. I think the conversation among the board, even when we had the joint meetings, was that the level of detail being provided wasn't sufficient. So rather than create a form for them to fill out, we just asked for a copy of their case file. And that's what you'll be seeing as part of the backup.
At the ones where they said they were in Bunnell or Palm Coast?
It'll give you more detail, like right now, I think what they're doing is maybe quantifying the different reasons for the call and whether it's, cat, dog, horse, pig. It was just kind of like a high-level summary. What we've asked for is a monthly log that they're able to tally up and then provide the actual case notes from the animal control officer when they go out there. So it's providing you more detail than what we previously got, and rather than them create another new form for them to fill out, we thought that this would probably be more beneficial.
Well, we're not getting it every month.
Never got.
If it goes back several months, we might have gotten one, but I don't remember
I
seeing
haven't
anything
gotten
on a monthly basis.
Moving forward with their billing, it would be monthly that it's provided. I think when we sent it out, we were sending it out to
As
say,
an
hey, do you
example?
like the template? Is this good?
Okay. That was during that meeting.
That was in the course of us having these meetings to fine tune what this would look like,
I remember
yes.
the meeting that we had. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I see Miss Amy Caradenuto is here. Did you have anything you wanted to add or speak to? Okay. Okay. Is
I have a quick question, Amy. Did you get rid of all those cats, those 96 cats? You have a couple left? I'm trying to find people for them.
all right, at this time, I'll go out for public comment. Is there anybody that wishes to speak on this item? Come up to the podium and state your name. All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment and come back to the dais. Any final questions for either Ms. Caradenudo or for Ms. Petito?
Nope. No.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agreement with Flagler County Humane Society for animal control services, animal shelter services, and spay and neuter programs.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hanson, seconded by Commissioner Richardson. All those in favor signify with aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Caradenudo, for being here. All right, additional reports and comments, County Administrator.
Thank you. As a follow-up to our September 3rd board meeting, I was asked to reach out to the City of Flagler Beach as well as the Town of Beverly Beach regarding setting a date for joint meetings with their respective board to discuss the beach funding plan as it relates to MSTUs and MSBUs. We do have a date scheduled for Beverly Beach. It's scheduled for October 13th here in the board chambers, tentatively from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Flagler Beach did respond last week that they currently don't have interest in this meeting at this time. Some of the feedback that I got, and I actually went back and listened to their meeting, which took place on September 11th. They said that this wasn't part of the consensus during the joint workshop, that they supported the original plan, which included 160 in an MSBU and the half-cent sales tax. They felt that our request to meet them now is too vague because we didn't share with them what the new plan was going to be, and that if there was more information provided, then they might have an appetite to meet, but not at this time. As you know, we're working with the 911 Dispatch Center. They will be transitioning over on Sunday, September 28th. Last week, we extended their offer letters and benefit packages. We have scheduled 2 meet and greets to meet the 4 different shifts. Those will be taking place this Wednesday as well as Friday between 6:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. That we were able to catch the outgoing shift as well as the incoming shift. We're continuing to work with the City of Palm Coast and the animal stakeholders on a joint plan for sheltering. Our next task force meeting is set for September 25th, next week. I did want to mention that I spoke to the chair of your IDA board. They have expressed a desire to expand their role outside of the IDA board, where they would like to be more of, take on the role of Economic Development Advisory Board to the Board of County Commission. I don't know if there is an appetite among the board for that, but they will be convening tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the board chambers here for their regularly scheduled meeting. I believe they're meeting every month, the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 1 o'clock. But they envision among themselves to kind of be like the Flagler Business Alliance, which would help support and promote economic development along with staff. And then the IDA role is another role that they will serve as that follows state statute. So they will be discussing this tomorrow, and then we'll have to come back to the board and see if this is something that this board wants to consider adding as kind of like an advisory position.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I would like everybody on the board to know that I have been going to those meetings. I've spoken with some of them. They are very, very, very talented people with a lot of business acumen, and I do think we need to have them as an advisory board. I think that would give them a better opportunity to reach out to their peers and be able to put us in a much quicker posture than just them and going down the chain. They are very prepared, and they have tremendous amount of talent. It's unbelievably smart group of folks, and they work cohesively, beautifully with the 7 board. So we were not wrong to make it, and it's a diverse group, and I think we can do a lot more with it. I think that's a great idea. Thank you, Heidi, for the request.
Heidi, are they working with our new economic development person?
I believe tomorrow will be the first day that they meet them.
Okay, good.
So we'll see what comes out of tomorrow's meeting with the IDA board. There's still some work that needs to be done there as it pertains to state statute, notifying the state and some documents that they need to complete. So we'll bring it back to you for consideration at a later date once we get some feedback from them tomorrow. I also wanted to mention that I'm going to be attending a conference in Gainesville this week on Wednesday. It's the Florida Association of Counties Innovation workshop, and then I'm going to be off next Thursday and Friday, and Jorge Salinas will be in charge. And that concludes my report.
Could we take a minute to talk about, could you read into the record the email that was sent to Flagler Beach asking for the joint meeting?
So the email was sent from Rose Kiernan. She had been listening to the meeting that we had down here. And so she says, "Good morning, Penny. I'm following up on a voicemail that I left. The commissioners at their September 3rd regular business meeting asked to schedule a meeting with the full board of both the county and the city of Flagler Beach with the purpose of discussing MSBU, MSTUs. Can you provide some dates that might work for your commission?" That's the message that was sent.
And that was too vague, according to Flagler Beach?
Correct.
So Heidi, how do we proceed if we have to be making some decisions on permitting, and if Flagler Beach is not on board for Reach 2? How do we get Reach 2 done without Flagler Beach and Beverly Beach being on board?
It's really going to be a decision that's made by this board. You do have a meeting scheduled with Beverly Beach.
Take a drink.
Well, Flagler Beach makes up 6 miles out of the 18 miles on the coastline. So would it not be important for them to understand what's going on the coast, on the beach project?
I think that they understand the need or the importance. I think they're reluctant to meet unless there's some new material or some new discovery.
Do they know that the $160 MSBU that was presented to them, I know it's been over a year, did they know that that $160 had no justification to how that number was chosen?
When we made, I don't know what they assume or to know or anything
Correct.
like that, but I know that when we presented it as staff to the public at various outreach, the 160 was a placeholder, and it goes back to the apportionment question earlier tonight. When we were looking at the funding strategy for the plan, that piece, that MSBU piece, was the gap. That was the delta between what we needed and what we could establish. So if you took that amount, and it was roughly, I want to say just under 2 million or right around 2 million, and you divided it by the number of parcels, that's where that placeholder came from. It was never intended that that's a given, that you're only paying the 160, but that's how that formula was derived. You still need to go behind it and look at, say it's 2 million. How are you going to apportion the 2 million? You have to look at each one of the
Right.
properties and go up with that benefit. Some areas, if we were only trying to collect 2 million, some of them may only pay $100. Some of them may pay $400.
Right.
It depends on the benefit. But they supported having a nominal charge for an MSBU, but what they've said is that they support the half cent. If that's not part of the equation, then what is the plan? And then they'll consider meeting. But because we haven't shared a new plan, they feel like it's just a circle. And that's why they're saying that they're not willing to meet right now.
But we don't have a new plan. There is no new plan.
And I think that's the concern that
Yeah.
Flagler Beach has.
We don't have a plan. We got several months to come up with one, but we don't have one. It's probably premature to ask to meet with any of these people because we don't have a plan. It's going to take some work and some collaboration by this commission to come together with a plan. We don't have one right now.
No, I have not watched the meeting. I'd like to go back and listen to the actual comments.
Well, regardless of the overall, okay, I'll end it, thanks.
Commissioner Penny, did you?
I'll just catch it on the commissioner comments. I'll let everyone roll through.
County Attorney.
Can I not to piggyback on Ms. Petito's statements, but I will be attending tomorrow's meeting as well with the IED, right? Get the acronym correct. Initially, they had broached the subject with me to help them, assist them in giving them just a kind of a Sunshine Law refresher course. And then then it went into, well, legally, how can we expand our scope? That's when I worked with administration to determine, where can we do that, and then what is necessary from you as a board to help them expand that scope. In turn, I'll also be meeting on Friday with the Cultural Council, the same guise of giving them a Sunshine Law refresher. I'm reaching out with all the other boards and commissions of the county, giving them a nice refresher, which is something I've always done. Is like, guys, this is how Sunshine Law works, and please follow it at your own peril, please. Updates on what our office is up to. Just last week, we actually managed to settle a personnel matter. It was an administrative matter, so the settlement agreement did not have to come to you for approval because it was strictly administrative and personnel. But we managed to resolve the matter before going to an arbitration. So we actually ended up saving the county some money by not having to expend time and money in an arbitration. I think both parties hopefully were satisfied with the results. I know we were satisfied with the results of our resolution. And along those lines, just today we received notification from the Supreme Court that they have rendered a decision on the Josie versus Flagler case. They will not take up the motion filed by the petitioner for a rehearing. So that decision on dismissing that case stands. So I think it'll go back to the trial court for a decision. I think at this point it's up for the pro se plaintiff on whether to refile his action or not. That is the case. Let me get the refresh on the language that Sean gave me. I believe he was suing the, where'd it go? Sorry. He was suing the county. This is in regards to our interlocal to provide funding to the Carver Gym. And it was this plaintiff's allegations that the funding was illegal because it benefited the Police Athletic League, as well as it being racially motivated. And I believe the trial court dismissed the action. However, based on the decisions of the appellate court, it was not a final action. He appealed this to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court agreed with the appellate court, stating this is not a final action. This goes back to the trial court. So the matter was not held. The decision came today from the Supreme Court. And then on Friday, we have our mediation scheduled in our litigation regarding the Sears building. So that's scheduled to go to, we'll be attending the mediation on that on Friday. So that's currently what we're working on.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Can I ask about a case?
Absolutely.
What about the case in the hammock where he came to the boat storage case?
Bob Million.
Oh.
What's his name?
The Millions, the hammock.
The Million
boat
in the
storage.
hammock?
Yeah, I think it's still
Marina.
It's still pending. I know I
Bert
briefly
Harris.
spoke. Yeah, it's a Bert Harris, and it's a federal Bert Harris claim. I did briefly speak with our counsel on the matter because I wanted to get get caught up on it, mainly because it's a federal Bert Harris claim. It's still ongoing. I can't remember what's right now off the top of my head. I can't recall the scheduling, but it's still. But I would like to try to find a way. I think right now I can't remember what we have pending, but I'll follow up with you on what the current status is. This is one of those where I think I would like to try to find a way to get us extricate ourselves from this, if possible, from a Bert Harris claim like that, especially as a federal claim.
It's kind of interesting what's going on out there. He's torn down the big building, where the boat was built. He's torn that down, and he's in the process of trying to remove the footers, but they're so big he hasn't figured out how to do that yet. but there's digging going on, and he can't figure out how to get the concrete out of the ground, so he's working.
Yeah, it's Hammock Harbor is the plaintiff case. That's the case. But I did speak with our counsel briefly just to get one, to introduce myself to him, and to get an update. So I will follow up with you on our current status of what his current status is in the case.
It's interesting. Does he have to get a permit to tear all that down, and did he get one? I don't know.
I off the top of my head, I don't recall right now.
Okay, that'd be something to find out.
I will.
Adam's in the back of the room shaking his head that he has a demolition permit.
He does.
Yes.
Oh, good.
That reminds me, I went by the old Dixie Hotel and I didn't see a brick on that. I didn't see anything on that property left. Not a brick, not a.
That's a great observation.
I just want you to know, I took my Friday to drive over there and take a peek. It's gone. So, bye-bye old Dixie Hotel.
Good to hear. Any other questions for Mr. Rodriguez?
And then the one final thing, as I had noted, and I'll sit on the record at this meeting too, but yes, we did also receive the notices of the annexation from Flagler Beach in regards to the properties that are going to be just east to where the current development we were just talking about at our workshop. And I'm still trying to pin down the exact parcels, because it looks like one of the parcels, it's one lot, but they're going to annex a portion of that lot, but not another another portion of that lot, yet it's one. So it looks like the final result is one lot in two separate jurisdictions. So I've got to have to take a closer look at what's going on, and there could be the outside possibility of there being a general enclave that's going to be the end result there. So we've got some conversations with the city that are probably pending.
Yeah, because previously, I'm sure Sean brought you up to date. Previously, we had talked about just a policy direction on enclave creation.
Right.
And how we didn't want to go there.
Right. It's tricky because some folks take the definition of enclave to almost seem does it mean one lot is created as an enclave, or when you have, and here what we have is, in essence, we're going to have an entire development that is going to be sandwiched between the annexed property and the river that's going to stay outside. And then they've deliberately not annexed an area that is running adjacent to John Anderson. That's going to stay outside in order to try to avoid, so you're basically going to have kind of, best way to describe it is kind of like two finger-like projections with unincorporated right in the middle between John Anderson and the two parcels, and then our lot there. So let's take a closer look, and then I'll bring this back and present it to you whether the counties we're looking at maybe do we want to file a formal objection to this annexation.
There's also a spine road in there somewhere.
Well, I don't know if there's a spine road, if there's going to be inside there.
Depends on how far up without looking at the map, but.
Well, and the maps they provided on their notice are very vague. I have to actually piece together, I have to piece together their plat and then figure out exactly what is in, and then you have the development that's just to the east that's outside of it. And then, as I said, there's that one parcel, which is almost like the anchor on the bottom, which is one, according to the property appraiser, it's one lot. But when I look at their maps that they provided as part of their public notice, it's split in half. Half of it's going to be, and as I said, and then the end result is one single lot in two jurisdictions.
Special lot.
Can't wait to see that graphic.
Is it going to be red and blue and green and?
They can have chickens on
And they've not done a feasibility study to the county either, so they're missing some documents as well.
Okay.
All right, sir. Anything else?
That is all.
Thank you. All right. At this time, we'll go back out for our second community outreach. This is, again, 30-minute time period for public comment, if anybody wishes to address the commission. Yes, sir.
James Fisk, Palm Coast.
All half of you.
All half of me, yes. From the Tourist Development Council. I would like to thank the council for approving the Eco Discovery Center project. I think it's going to be a fantastic and unique opportunity for education here in Flagler County. And again, I can't thank you all enough, because I think it's going to be a great addition to the county. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else for public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back. Close public comment and bring it back to our commissioners for their final reports. Commissioner Hanson?
No, sir. I don't have anything for you today.
Commissioner Pennington?
Oh, you made me cry earlier today.
What's that?
You made me cry earlier
That was-
today.
that
man.
was-
Saw that.
You got me good.
The most moving proclamation
Being the
ever.
cancer, he was crying.
Well, it was personal.
Very
I
personal.
know,
personal
we know,
for
we all
me.
saw it. We all caught you. We caught you, big guy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. So Mr. Hamilton, who has left the building, brought up said there was all these rumblings about studies needed and all of that, and he had asked about that. So I waited to the end to bring that back. I did meet with staff. There was a comment, some folks had some questions about the study up in Reach 3. That study will determine whether or not that area is critically eroded. The staff stated that they thought that study will be back sometime in 2026, early 2026 for that. They asked about the MSBU study that we've been talking about, and I liked how, I'm almost with you, Greg, which is right now, should we meet with Beverly Beach? We need the MSBU study. We've gone ahead and pushed through all this without having the study that tells us what's the benefit and to whom. That study will be back at an early December 2025, maybe January. We're looking at that. Permitting for project in Reach 3, another year at least, they suggested for that permitting. There are roughly 40 easements or so still out there that are needed. The majority of them they cannot get in contact with, it sounds like. So I'm sure legal's working on that. But long story short, and once that critical erosion study comes back for Reach 3, which is a very expensive reach because there's really no funding up there, correct? That will determine whether or not there will be up to a 50% cost share from the DEP in that area, which is a critical number to know that we need to plug into this funding. And the reason I bring all this up is somebody asked me after that meeting, and it was a good question, which is, you're levying an MSBU, you don't have that study back, and would you consider looking at it by reach? Because why should I pay for Reach 2 when I live in Reach 4 and it's, not as costly as Reach 2s? It wasn't that, it dawned on me in that conversation that we really don't know all the answers. What if that is an outcome of the MSBU? What if people are going to start asking, why should I pay for Reach 3, which is costly, and my Reach and my MSBU? And we don't have all of this information. These are really important studies that we still have, and yet we push on with conversations about $160, $200, $400, and I think the reason I say that is because I'd hate to see our board start to get upset with each other and be pressured and bullied when we don't have everything we need to make a firm decision. We need that study. We need the MSBU study. And it is almost, I think it's almost misfeasance, which is we don't intend to do something wrong here, but without the diligence that we need these reports and stuff, we can't make good decisions without having this information. We'll have this information, it looks like, at the beginning of the year. So rather than have our board start to hate on each other, because hate just shuts down the conversation and it stops the conversation. We don't intend to bully one another, but it sort of comes out because we all have different ideas of how we think this should be. I can't make this decision without knowing what the MSBU study is, who benefits, what households would fall into it. And I also would like to know if REACH 3 is critically eroded, because that would change the funding in that REACH, and we could be overtaxing at some portion. So I am asking for this board to let staff get the MSBU study in, get the critically eroded study in, before we start continuing these conversations with municipalities when we don't have a final funding number or plan. I don't want to stop I think everyone up here wants to fund the beach. But it has made us divisive with each other, and I don't think we need to be there. I think we just need to admit that we need these studies in. We will get ourselves on a plan. It's important to know, but I don't want to be in a position of committing misfeasance, and I think it's almost there. You know, we don't intend to do the wrong thing here, but we could be doing the wrong thing and applying a MSBU with a number that's not supported by facts. And so I don't want to get to that point, and I'm not saying that we're doing that, but we're getting close to doing things and committing to things and committing the public to numbers that we don't really have yet. So I bring that up because I'm frustrated. I'm losing confidence that we're going to be able to deliver. And we talk about a referendum with a half-cent sales tax. And how can people have any confidence in us at all if we can't have these numbers plugged in? And I think we need the critical erosion study. I think we need the MSBU study. And I want to wait till we get those back. And, you know, I don't want the conversation to stop with us, and I don't want us to be on each other about it. So that's my take for the evening. And I'll stop with that. Sorry.
You're fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Carney.
I read a couple of emails this week, and I think we're all in a tough situation with 9/11 and just things in general that's happening. I would like to know if the board, again, I don't have the exact dates and times of all of our meetings. I know that it's done a year ahead of time because we've already approved the vacation days and the meetings and workshops for 2025, 26, I think. But I would like to see this board make a resolution that there would be no meetings on next November 11th. It'll be the 25th anniversary for 9/11. I think that we and our constituents should be free and available that day to observe.
Can I correct you to September 11th, not November?
September, what did I say?
November.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the birthday from the Marine Corps, sorry, or Veterans Day. September 11th, I'm sorry. Thanks for picking up on that, Pam. I think we should keep that day open for, and I do understand that the state law has to do with two municipalities can't have their budget hearings on the same day at the same time because people are supposed to be able to go to multiple meetings if they want. And I know in Flagler Beach, whenever we set our workshops or our hearings, I guess in September it's really hearings, not workshops, but for the hearings, we can't be at the same time as another municipality. So I understand that it could get a little bit difficult. Also, we also celebrate some religious holidays, and those religious holidays, no matter what your religion is, should be observed. It's too late for this year because we've already public noticed. But if our staff could look at, or if we could write a resolution declaring those days as non-meeting days in 2026. The holiday part is only fair and equitable. A lot of certain religions have days off because of the nature of the holiday. It is also religious. So I think we should look at the calendar in general and give our constituents a chance to either recognize their religious holiday or not, or
Can we call those holy days?
we can call them
They're called holy days.
holy days. All right, whatever. And if there's no resolution in sight, then I would like to publicly state that this board needs to be more sensitive to 9/11 in 2026, and as well as any religious holiday meeting days.
Commissioner Richardson.
I have something excited to say. Not really, not that exciting. I just wanted to let everybody know I went to the Crime Stoppers event at the Sheriff's Crime Stoppers for the Northeast region. I ran into a lot of old friends, and I wound up sitting with a different city. The guy next to me won the big award, and we have one of our detectives won a big award as well. It was a wonderful evening, and I thought it was well worth my $1. I was also have a request about the Disabled Transportation Committee. We had our big meeting, our quarterly meeting, and we're looking for some kind of maybe rack cards or something that we can offer to our residents and put them throughout areas for the opportunity to use the transportation, our jitneys, and how they operates and what they have to do. Sometimes they're months, takes a month to get an appointment to get a ride. It's the ride share, and a lot of our residents use it. It's got much more usage than I ever knew. Unbelievable amount of usage. So they are concerned that not enough people know about it, and we'd like to maybe, just like I said, print up a simple rack card to be able to send it out rather than go through books and information. Just something we could put at the city halls and about town, doctors' offices. They had a whole list of things, and that was the committee came up with that, and I think it's a great idea because there are people that do need assistance and may not know how to get it. So at hospitals, doctors' offices, they had a whole list of ideas. So I think if we could do that, that would be an amazing help for those people that are elderly, disadvantaged, so forth.
For HR, is that under Human Services?
We get funding through the regional council, help support that.
Transportation falls under general services.
General service.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought so. Because the gentleman was there, was Trevor.
Trevor Martin.
Yeah, he stepped into that position, right? So we did talk about that, and I'm hoping that, oh yeah, he was there. We had a great attendance too. So thank you. And
Was there a resolution or anything that they formalized?
we talked about it.
Or
We talked about it, and I said I would bring it up at this meeting.
I'm wondering if there's something from the regional council that they've done in the past
They
regarding the service itself, but it would have to be customized. to
She was
provide-
there, and it was discussed, and they said something like, that's a good idea. So it was a positive move by everybody. The whole committee felt it's very, and we didn't have to make it any bigger, just something that would be available to people that might need assistance. So it's a reach out type of thing. So if we can consider that, I think that would be great.
I can follow up with Mr. Martin and then just bring it back for if it needs board action.
Right.
Thank you.
That sounds good.
Thank you. And thanks, everybody, for being here on this late night of 6:55.
All right. Is that all?
That's it.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad we're getting out before 10.
I just have a few things. Chief, We let the firefighters go without due recognition for their attendance today, for the work that they do, and to acknowledge the contract being signed. So my fault. Tell them I apologize, but that we thank them profusely for the work that they're doing, and let them know I'm sorry for not giving them their proper recognition tonight while they were here. Thank you, sir. And just to follow up to Ms. Pennington's comments on the MSBU, I mean, I'm in agreement. As far as I was concerned, we hadn't agreed to anything. We approved 0, and nothing else had been agreed to yet. So
That's right. We don't have a plan.
waiting
Yeah,
on
we
the
don't have a
studies.
plan.
But so your points are perfectly in alignment with where we are.
Well, I just noticed that there's so many numbers everywhere all of a sudden, and it's
That's the
not going
point
to help
of,
us.
I think, trying to clarify to the residents are confused.
Should we go with Beverly Beach right now?
I would vote no on that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't really want to have these discussions till we nail down those studies. That's just my,
I agree.
So.
The only reason for the action at the last meeting was just like we had a deadline in December of '24 to get an MSBU on the books with the state of Florida. The deadline for the notice is in January. So if that is not done in '25, you miss 27, no?
26.
No, Leanne? That's not what you miss?
Well, it's not that you don't miss the deadline, or if they are going to pass an MSBU, they'll miss a deadline.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how that you can go forward without having a discussion in October. They may have just missed the deadline. Is it January for them to?
They would have to take board action by the end of December 31st of this year, because you have to notify Department of Revenue in January. So if the City of Flagler Beach or Beverly Beach did not do it prior to year end, essentially you would lose a whole year.
You're going to lose a whole year.
Right, but that's just the formation of the MSBU.
Correct.
Yeah, well,
And that's
I would
all.
think we could fix that with a phone call. Just, hey, be aware you need to do this, if they're not already thinking about doing it.
Yeah, that was made clear at the last multi-unit meeting, that there was a deadline and that we were here to help them, both Beverly Beach, Marineland, Flagler Beach, so, I mean, continue the conversation with them. And
Well, the other decision that needs to be made is, as we move into Reach 2, it is Flagler Beach and Beverly Beach, almost 85% of it. So if they don't, just like us, if we don't have a funding source and that project comes up and they don't have a maintenance agreement with Flagler County, how do we do the project? How do we put $30 million into Reach 2 with neither of the municipalities that are in Reach 2 on board with a maintenance agreement with the county and an MSBU funding source? How do we do that, especially if we are talking about construction in 2026? So, I'm sorry?
I was under the assumption Flagler Beach had budgeted that. No, not for the original?
No, I think what Commissioner Carney is referring to is when we move forward with Reach 2 construction, you have funding, I think it's roughly $7 million from FDOT that is designated to be used in that area. And then it's additional funding that we were able to get in the way of funding through DEP. But there is a requirement that you're obligated to 3 years. So if you have monitoring requirements, environmental things, if you get hit with a hurricane and it needs to be rebuilt, there will be a funding component attached to it. So who is going to be obligated for that if we move forward? Is it going to be Flagler County because we're accepting the grant funding to be applied there? Or is it going to be Beverly Beach or Flagler Beach? who don't necessarily have anything set up yet. I think that's the concern.
And I'm not downplaying the joint meetings that you all are having, but there's only two of you sitting there. There's not even enough for consensus, never mind a vote. And I just see Palm Coast coming and sitting with us when there's major decisions to be made. So why a joint meeting, even if it's just an hour? Don't they want to see where we are in the process? Don't they want to understand REACH 2? Don't they want to get involved in this? I just don't understand it. So that was the whole point. I know you got, the two guys weren't here for that meeting, but that was the idea. It's just all of us being together on the same page. Because right now, if anything happens to that Army Corps project at the south end of Flagler Beach, they have nothing to go on. They don't have a funding source. They're going to call the FDOT. FDOT is going to try to save their whole thought process on how this Army Corps maintenance / renourishment works. I don't think is clearly understood. So is it staff to staff talking? Is it board to board talking? I don't know who's supposed to be talking, but I just don't want to leave it uncovered. The interlocal agreement right now that Flagler Beach has with the county makes them responsible for maintenance, and that's it. It would be up to us as the sponsor to either pay up or go to them or work something out. But by then, we would have had the hurricane and we're scrounging around for money. So if the conversation's not on the table, I'm fine with that. I just want it to be clearly understood that if these two municipalities miss an MSBU in 2026, they're looking at 2027 with a construction project coming on board in 2026 that is almost 100% in their jurisdiction. We can't go over them. We have to be with them.
Is there a way to clarify those requirements through a memo to the city of what they're...
We can work with engineering to put something together and share it with the city manager.
Okay, that sounds like a first step. Okay, thank you. I'll be heading to the FAC Legislative Conference for Wednesday through Friday. So when next time we get together, I'll give a summary of, we'll be fighting. We've got 3 proposals, the 180, the one on the easements, and then the other one on the 6 penny for TDC. So I'll give a report back on how that goes. And really the goal is to try and get FAC to be a supporter and carry the weight for us as a legislative priority.
Yeah, I'm on the, we're meeting with the federal, I'm meeting with the federal committee, but there's not anything in that agenda that really is going to affect us. But I'll go and support whatever we do.
And follow up on the religious holiday component, as I was thinking about this, whether it's a modification to our policies and procedures, I think we need to come up with a definite list of what those major holidays are, and whether it's through HR, when the calendar is gone through, at least it's when the calendar is brought back to us, they're listed so we can see that if there's any conflicts, then we can talk about it as a board.
They're usually on all calendars.
Well, today is Rosh Hashanah, but it is not on the calendar, on the Google or Apple calendar. So I don't know.
And it starts at dark.
That's
It
probably
starts at
why
sunset.
it wasn't picked up by staff.
I think it starts the 22nd. The public hearing, I think that was the comment.
That was the conflict, the 22nd.
This is the one prior to Rosh Hashanah.
But we can look at the calendar, the one that's already been adopted, and bring it back if there's conflicts. We'll just put it on the agenda.
Yeah, they can always, it's just the
Can
public
modify.
hearing has already been, we read it into the record, it's been noticed and everything. I think it's good, though, that we take it to heart, that we look in the future, at future calendars.
About 9/11, 2026.
It's on a Friday. I don't know that we'll have a conflict.
Well, again, as long as we state,
Well, we
don't.
did our
Right.
budget on 9/11. That was the problem. We did our budget.
Yeah,
or
that was-
attack,
that was
notice
brutal.
on 9/11.
Brutal,
We just gotta.
especially this year.
But the 25th anniversary will be huge, so.
I guess we'll be off July 4th, right?
I think that's it. That's all I've got. So my comments are done.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move we adjourn.
Sure does.
We're adjourned.
Thank you.
I'm going to be here.